everybody, John Ponick with the Mojave Valley Daily News. This is our Wednesday Q&A segment. Today, I am happy to welcome Mark Tierce. Mark is the site director for Nation's Finest. How you doing, brother?
Good. Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you. The Nation's Finest, formerly the Veterans Resource Center. You guys are over there on Hancock, right? Next to the River Fund?
Yes,
right
1343 Hancock. Right now, we share a building with the River Fund. We're right across the street from the high school.
Okay. So, first of all, it was the Veterans Resource Center, and now it's Nation's Finest. Nation's Finest is a national organization, correct?
Yes. Well, VRC, we were an umbrella branch. We had a mother company called Vietnam Veterans of California, was our original organization, and it had a bunch of branch organizations that did different programs. Well, we decided to roll it all into one under one umbrella, which is now Nation's Finest, and we went through that rebranding last September.
Good timing.
Excellent timing, and like I said, it had been in the works for a year, so you can't just put the brakes on it. Yeah. But it did kind of throw a wrench in the whole operation with switching right in the middle of COVID. So yeah, that was something to get used to.
Was that going into Nation's Finest? Did that change the way you guys did things, or is it?
Not at all.
Did you just get new shirts?
We just got new shirts and new business cards and new branding. We do the same services that we've always done. Same great people. We have the same crew, and we're doing the mission as normal.
When you say same great people, are you including Ken Hewitt in that, or is that? Should we just move on?
We should just move on.
Okay. All right. All right. So let's. Obviously, you're a veteran. We talked about it. You're an Army veteran, just like myself. Awesome.
Yes.
How did you get into this position?
It was kind of weird. I actually used to be one of those people who didn't really have a lot of empathy for like homeless people, where I thought, just get a job. I've been working since I'm 15. Jobs are out there to get, until I retired from the Army. And I thought, hey, I got 3 associate's degree and a bachelor's degree. It should be no problem for me to get a job. Easy peasy, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely not. I put in for so many jobs, and just nothing was coming up. And I swore if I heard the term, you're overqualified for this position one more time, I thought I was going to go on a shooting spree. And I almost ended up homeless. If it wasn't for my family up in Flagstaff that I moved back in with, and kind of went through a severe depression too. I was like, I was 37 years old, had a distinguished career in the military, and now I'm back at my folks' house. And I ended up getting a job with an SSVF program up in Flagstaff, and I started out as their outreach worker. Then I worked my way up to case manager. Then I met Justin, who was the old site director here, at an outreach event, and he offered me a job. So I came down here to be closer to my kids. My ex-wife and kids were here, so this is where I ended up, and I ended up being his lead case manager for a while. Then when he left, I took over as director, and I've been the director for 3.5 years now.
Great, outstanding. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the services you have. I just want to remind everybody that this is Q&A, so please type your questions in there. We will for sure take a look at them. I will lob them at Mark and see what he can come up with. But he's an Army guy. He's prepared. He's ready to go. Or what will improvise.
Improvise, yeah.
Improvise, adapt, overcome. All right. So let's start with the first thing that is listed on your site, and it's transitional housing. It says homeless veterans with mental health disorders can stay at one of our clinical model transitional housing facilities for up to 2 years. Do we have something like that here?
Not in the local area, but we can transport them. We have what's called the GPD program, the grant per diem. We also have HCHV, which is healthcare for homeless veterans, and a few other programs. We actually have facilities with that are big enough to accommodate many people. So they can stay in the GPD program up to 2 years while they get assistance, usually like if they have a dual diagnosis like mental illness and either alcohol addiction or drug addictions, and they work on those issues while they're there under long-term care.
So these long-term facilities will allow them, or these transitional housing facilities will allow them to stay there and work on, as long as they're working on their issues,
Yes.
That they can stay there. Okay.
Yeah, they can stay there at the 2 years, and it's kind of like dorm living. They all have their own room, so it's not shared room or anything like that. They have their privacy, all that good stuff they can work on.
Good. And did you say where the
Reno, Eureka, and Sacramento.
Oh, Reno's not that bad.
Reno's not that bad. Yeah.
As far as far away, and you'll transport them from
Yes,
here.
we pay for the transportation and everything.
Okay. I think I want to skip over the second one for now. Mental health problems, including PTSD, moral injury, traumatic brain injury, military sexual trauma, depression, anxiety are all too common among today's veterans. Mental health needs of those who served are often forgotten. Boy, that's kind of an understatement, don't you think?
That's a huge understatement. And we kind of have a saying, all the easy cases are done. So, 90% of the cases we deal with now are people with severe mental illness, long-term homelessness, and the VA actually sees homelessness as a terminal issue. Because it's hard out on the streets, and the death rate is very high for homeless. So the VA actually considers homelessness a terminal issue.
Wow.
Or a terminal illness.
Yeah. So if it's not addressed, they will die.
Exactly.
Out there. No, that's for sure. So do you work then with Southwest Behavioral or those kind of people in town? Is that what you do?
We do. We work with Southwest Behavioral, Mojave Mental Health. There's so many, Talos. There are so many organizations that we work closely with trying to get our veterans into their programs if we can. And we actually have a new position that we hired this year. One of my case managers actually went over to it. It's called a healthcare navigator. And her whole job is, when we get people enrolled into our program, is to help them navigate the healthcare system, getting signed up for access, getting signed up for VA medical, helping them get into. We have a veteran recently that we just got signed up for All-Tex, and we're getting him into a long-term care facility.
Wow.
So that's her whole job there, is navigating the healthcare system, because it can be extremely difficult, especially for veterans who are already dealing with severe mental illnesses.
You know what? It's difficult for me if I wanted to navigate the healthcare system here, not dealing with the VA or any of those. So
Exactly.
For somebody that's already homeless and dealing with these things, and I don't even know where to start with or who to start with, that's awesome. So when you have people like that that are struggling with that, is it something where you are able to, how do you diagnose that?
We do not. We are not clinicians.
Right.
We don't diagnose anything. We leave that to the professionals. We can see
I guess
signs and symptoms. We can see signs and symptoms, and we can recommend them to it. Or if they self-diagnose, say, I've been a victim of military sexual trauma, or I've been a victim of this, or I've been diagnosed as schizophrenic before, then we can address those issues. But yes, my people are not clinicians. We do not diagnose any mental illnesses or anything like
Right.
that.
So that, I guess, was kind of my point. If somebody comes in off the street, or somebody brings somebody in off the street and says, "Hey, this is my friend John, you need to help them," do you just kind of start interviewing them and see what's going on with them, and
Yes.
then from there go to whatever?
Yeah, and we have our criteria. They have to fit 3 criteria. One, they have to be a veteran of active duty service with other than 1 day of training. So they have to have at least 1 day of training of active duty service, unless they were put out during basic training due to like a medical issue. They have to be homeless or at risk of homelessness. Like if they have a 5-day pay or quit notice or an eviction notice, then we can assist them with that. And they have to, we are income capped. They have to make less than 50% of the area median income. And we do cover not just Bullhead, we cover the entire Mojave County area. We also cover Laughlin and California down to Blythe.
Oh, wow.
So
you got a pretty big area.
Yes, sir.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, let's talk about one of the things that we had talked about was eviction, or stopping Eviction Stop. can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Say somebody loses their job over across the street at the casinos or whatever. People have hard times. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, it's hard enough to get by. And if you lose one paycheck, or if you lose your job and it takes a month or two to get hired, you get behind on your rent, you can become homeless very easily. That's where we step in. We'll step in and cover their rent for a couple month or a couple months until they get back up on their feet and are able to be self-sufficient on their own again.
Okay. Where does that money come from? Is there a grant or something? Is it
Yes.
donations?
All of our money is with the SSVF grant, the Supportive Services for Veteran Families. It is a VA grant. That's why we can only help veterans at our organization. We're constantly looking for other grants. We've just opened it. We've been talking with our CAO, our Chief Accountability Officer, and our Director of Programs, and we might be branching out to non-veteran grants, but as of right now, we only handle veterans.
I think that really kind of stress your staff having also non-veterans in that as well.
I would be able to hire more staff for different programs.
Okay.
So.
Is that this homelessness prevention thing? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes,
Okay.
the homelessness prevention, and we also do what's called rapid rehousing. That's where we take our literally homeless vets, and right now we actually have the extra money from the VA because of the whole COVID issues, where we can take the homeless veteran off the streets and put them in hotels until we can get them permanently housed right now because of the whole COVID issue. So that way they're off the streets, safe in the hotel, and we work on their issues. We work off what's called a housing first model, where back in the 80s and 90s, it used to be where, you have to do this, this, and this, and then we'll do this for you. That's not how our program works. Our program works on housing first, where it's kind of like Maslow's law of hierarchy, where you have your physiological needs at the bottom. It's hard to get a job without a house, without an address. It's hard when when you can't clean yourself every day, when you can't just do certain things. Then you work on getting employment, then you work on your mental health and everything else. So it's like Maslow's hierarchy, where you need that good base foundation of housing before you can really work on other issues. So our primary goal is to get them housed, and then work on their employment, work on their medical needs and stuff like that. But housing is our primary goal.
Get that handled first.
Yes.
Are you guys working with the Christine Stamper home at all?
They're
'Cause they
not
only-
quite open yet.
No, not yet. But but they only have like 4 or 5 rooms in there.
They
for
have
veterans, right?
8. Actually, it's MEC that donated that section of the building for them, and they actually have an 8-room section for veterans that are dedicated to veterans.
Okay.
So yes, we will be working with them once they
they're
open
ready.
full time. We'll be over there talking to the veterans as well.
Yeah, they had called me recently, so it looks like they are. Oh, it says the live video has ended.
Yeah, we're having Facebook issues, but we're still live on YouTube. So
Okay.
continue.
Yeah, they said they just sent out a memo. They were supposed to open June 1st, but they are having a few hiring issues right now. Staffing
everybody else.
Yeah, hiring and volunteers. They're having some issues getting that going. Once they get that situated, then the homeless shelter will be open 24 hours a day.
I think that she actually is going to be on. I think next week, Jeff. I think the head of the Christine Stamper home is going to
Okay.
be out here next week. So
Very nice.
we'll have some more information on how they're doing there. So, so let's talk about then employment services. That's the next level up on
Yes.
your model. Our case managers help veterans identify barriers to employment as well as the types of services most useful to placing them in long-term, meaningful employment.
Yes.
I think that's awesome. That's pretty important. Meaningful employment, long-term meaningful employment, rather than, you can go pick up trash over here for a week and
Exactly.
And that's it.
Temp services or driving taxis, something that's not going to pay the bills. What sense in there is that? If it's not going to help them become self-sustainable, and that's our whole goal, is to empower these veterans, not enable them, because they don't need to be enabled. They need to be empowered to take back control of their life and, to self-actualize and to be able to do things on their own without us going forward.
That's the give me a hand up, not a handout.
Exactly, hand up, not a hand. And that's what I love about our program is it's temporary. It's a short-term, temporary problem to help them get, or temporary fix to help them get back up on their feet and become productive members of society again and be able to contribute.
I would guess that you get a lot of opportunity to talk to these veterans, right?
Yes.
Is it, I mean, is there a theme, a common theme in there that this happened to me or this happened and this is why I can't move forward without some help?
You would think, but not really. No, each individual story, it runs the gambit from, hey, I just lost my job and I got a new one, but I need help until I get my first paycheck, to we've had veterans. Well, one story I have when I was a case manager, we had a veteran who had been homeless since 1985, and we got him housed and we found him a place that was fully furnished. He kind of freaked out. Being on the street is kind of like being in jail where you get institutionalized. Well, they get used to it out there. He wasn't used to having the furniture, the four walls, the furniture, the bed, all that stuff. So he kind of popped smoke on us after about 2 months, and I lost track of him. And about a year later, I found him, and I was like, "Hey, let's try again," And we got him a place. At this time, we didn't get him a furnished one. We got him a little studio apartment, and made him a little pallet. He had his pallet down there. And about 2 months later, he was like, "Hey, Mark, I'd like to try a bed now." So went out and bought him a bed and worked him up slowly. Well, we ended up finding his sister that he hadn't talked to in 35 years. She thought he had passed away, and we got him reconnected with family. We got him hooked up with his. Not just his VA disability, but his Social Security SSDI, to where he could, live on his own and function on his own. And he's been in housing for 4 years now, and he's put on probably about 50 pounds, and he's happy. He's still talking to his sister. He actually went back to Illinois and met his niece for the first time in his life.
Oh my God!
So little stories like that make it worthwhile,
and that keeps you going, huh?
It makes it worthwhile, and we have a thing, not everybody's going to succeed the first time. Well, we keep trying and keep trying and keep trying until we do. Yeah. That's all we can do. Nobody made it through life on the first go, right? Yeah. So
let's. Case management. I know you mentioned that that's where you came from, the case management side. So I think that's recorded there. So let's talk about case management. They're the people that actually are taking the veteran through the whole system here, huh?
Yeah. Those are the people with the boots on the ground. I kind of joke around. I tell them my job is to say no. My case manager's job is to convince me to say yes on like funding and stuff like that. Because now as the director, I see the bigger picture with the budgets and all that kind of stuff, and they're worried about their clients. My case managers are amazing all day long. Even Ken, he's doing a great job of. I know I hate to give him any credit whatsoever.
He's a Marine.
I know I hate to give Marines any credit whatsoever. Do you know what the toughest 3 years of a Marine's life is? First grade.
That makes sense.
But yeah, I have an amazing team that they do some amazing work with these veterans. Like we said, taking them from the park through getting employment or filing for disability, stuff like that, getting them VA services, regular healthcare services, walking them each step through the process. Especially some of the older vets who aren't too computer savvy, and everything is done online now.
Yeah.
So we walk them through that. I just have an amazing crew. So I can't. To them, all the credit goes. I couldn't, ask for a better crew than I have.
I used to run into it occasionally where a veteran would ask me about getting their DD-214. They just had no idea. So those are the things that. You're able to, or your people are able to help with? I mean, is there anything outside of your scope that?
If it is outside of our scope, we know where to send them to get it done. So if they have any questions, they can feel free to call us. We even help people apply for VA not benefits, but VA medical. We can help them. We can pull up the 1010 Easy or the 1010 Easy R, which is, applying for VA healthcare. We can help them do the SF 180, and if for their DD 214 order. And if they're homeless, we actually have a special hotline with the National Archives where we fill out their stuff online, and then we send it to the homeless division, and we fax it off to them, and they try to get the DD 214 back to us within 4 days. So
wow.
normally it takes anywhere from 3 weeks to 2 months to 6 months to get your DD 214 back because there are so many orders. But with the homeless hotline, they try to get it back to us within 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, you're talking about a government entity, and you're talking about the military.
Yes.
Nothing is quick. Are you getting any questions?
Yeah, we do. We got a question from Cindy Frizzell.
Oh,
hey, Cindy.
She wants to know, well, I think you already answered it, but she says, explain what you do to help them with VA benefits. But I think you did explain that after she put that in. But also she says, Semper Fi.
The other thing for major VA benefits like filing for disability claims, filing to correct their DD 214, stuff like that would be Jennifer Portwood. She is our state Veterans Benefit Officer, and if they don't have her number, they can call us and we can get them in contact with her. All those kind of good things.
Jennifer is the anti-Ken Hewitt. She is hard-charging, hard-working, intelligent. Yeah.
Yeah, she's pretty awesome at her job.
She is.
So,
she's really good.
she would be the one to see for those. And like we said, if we don't do it, we know who to send them to get it done properly.
And then going along with it, are you able to help the veterans get to the VA, either the clinic here in Laughlin or the hospitals out in? Is that something you deal with? Or
We don't do transportation,
Okay.
unfortunately, right now. We used to have a vehicle where we could do transportation for our clients who are active clients, but it was an older vehicle that was donated to us by Harley Davidson out at the Proving Grounds. Kudos to them, but vehicle was older and it eventually stopped working. But yeah, unfortunately, we can't do any transport, but we can get them if they have appointments. We could get them in contact with the DAV to get them out to their appointments and stuff like that. Or if they're going up to Kingman, we have contacts in the community where we can usually get people rides.
Great. Excellent. Well, is that it, Jeff?
I think so. On YouTube, we don't have any more questions, and it looks like we're having issues with the chat on Facebook.
Yeah.
So
Looks like it locked up.
we've been having issues with that for the last few days with Facebook chat. It's not been reloading for us. So, but we did get a lot of people that went over to the YouTube channel, which is kind of cool. Maybe they'll continue to watch it over there.
There you go. They can hit subscribe over there.
That's right. Subscribe, and you won't have the chat issues there.
Yeah, and what's the little bell? There's a little
Ding,
bell
ding,
that
ding,
lets
yeah.
you know
Subscribe.
that it's up.
Ding, ding, ding. Yep.
All right. I just want to say I'm kidding about Ken Hewitt. He's an awesome guy. Mark's got issues with him, but I think he's great. and I've known Ken for a while. He gives me a hard time. So how do you like it, Ken? All right. Mark, first of all, as a veteran, I appreciate all the things that you're doing for our veterans out there that really need a hand. I spoke down at the Memorial Day service down at Desert Lawn on Monday, and I talked about the help that our veterans out there need and how, when they are the ones that answered the call for us, and now it's our turn to pay it back. So I really appreciate what you're doing to help these guys.
That's another great group down there, Janelle and them. They've done a lot for our veterans too. They've done sock drives, underwear drives, stuff like that. They're very dedicated to their community as well for veterans. They're an awesome crew down there.
So what would you say for the people out there? Is there anything they can do to help either the nation's finest or what should they do? Should they come in contact with somebody that needs help?
If they come in contact with somebody who needs help, if they're asking if they're veterans, if they are, they can give them our phone number. It's area code 928-444-1135, and they can get in contact with us. Or they can call us and let us know if they have a sighting of somebody with a sign that says, "Hey, I'm a veteran, I'm homeless, need help." Give us a call, and we'll go out there and talk to the veteran. If they want to donate, we're always in need of food because we do help our veterans with food.
What was that number? One more time.
Area code 928
Yep.
444
Okay.
1135.
Got it.
That's our main office
Perfect. I got that in the chat for people
Okay.
if they need it.
line. They can come into our office, especially in this inclement weather when it's too hot. Any homeless veteran is free to come in and sit down, have some nice cold water. Golden Nugget graciously donates 2 pallets of water a year to us.
Wow.
So we constantly have water for our veterans, and the community donates. Military Moms brings us food all the time. They're another great organization. I can't say enough about those ladies.
Amazing.
Yeah, I can't say enough about those ladies. They're just they're godsends. If people want to bring in like some food, like cup of soups, snacks, stuff like that, we do give it to our veterans, so they can have a nice meal in our office out of the heat.
Good. Well, you heard it. You heard what they need. I know our community, I'm really proud of the way we, and I said this again, down at Desert Lawn, more than any community I've lived in, I think our community reacts more to help our veterans than any community I've been in before. So please step up and give them a hand. You're over, what's the address on Hancock there?
1343 Hancock. We're share a building with the Riverfront right across from the high school.
Right. So go on out and see them. Mark, thanks a lot. I appreciate
Thank you for
it.
having me, John. I appreciate
Everyone, thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, guys.
We have tomorrow
Daily Dose and then Valley Voices
with our special guest.
and it is. Are you going to say or?
I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
But tune in. Tune in tomorrow at 7:30 for Daily Dose.
It
I
will
will
be
have
live.
it then.
All right.
Yes. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow.